Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to show you about 23w12a, which is the latest snapshot for 1.20, and overall adds a huge amount of content that is sure to blow your expectations of this rather small, now large update out of the water. However, before I begin, remember, please like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's investigate. Here we are at the changelog, and there's a lot of things. So, the experiments are now part of the base game, which means if you were having trouble booting up your world with the new snapshot features, it will automatically be included if you booted up with this snapshot. Vibration resonance functionality added to blocks of amethyst, which is huge actually, because the calibrated skulk sensor has been added, which means power lines are now a thing. Suspicious gravel, more archaeology sites, and new pottery is added. 5 new armor trims, sniffer egg, more sniffer content, along with basically reworked designs. I'm not going to go through every single thing here because you can see these are quite the changelogs. But the important things to know are 5 new armor trims, and that there's a new structure. Also, the new pottery shards, it would take a while to set them all up in game, so credit to this person, the Galactic Ash, and we can see all the pots here. So, you can see the amount has gone from 4 to around 20 it seems, sorry if I'm wrong. You can see they're all from different areas, some Warden, some Sniffer, and the underwater ocean ruins are going to have a couple of these, which means a lot of stuff is going on. So let's look in game. Now, for our in-game structures, we can see I have some ruins here, and there's a new block to look out for in these. Suspicious gravel. You can see it's suspicious sand, but gravel, so it's the same thing but a little bit grainier. Some normal gravel for some comparison here. You can see that they're differentiable, but pretty similar. And of course you can brush them. Similar to suspicious sand, if they fall, they break, which means you have to be very careful during excavation. So, going around, brushing things, you know the gameplay. So, it's not too fascinating, but still, when you do find one, you can brush it, and you have a chance of getting some of the new pottery shards. Along with that, we can get some other things. So, yeah, it's a little bit new for now, so I don't know the entire loot table for brushing these new structures blocks are, but still, it's quite interesting. Now, for our sniffers, they've gotten quite a bit of an upgrade. First off, they now have a new plant drop, the pitcher plant, which drops a pod when they dig it up, and here are the growth stages. It starts off as this, and it must be grown on farmland. Before growing a little, gets a little flower here, and now it's fully ready. Then you can harvest it and plant it wherever, not just on farmland. And on the topic of sniffers themselves, of course, they are sniffers, and we've already covered them, but their breeding mechanics are slightly changed. So, they do not accept pitcher pods, only the torch plant, torch flower, and instead of just summoning a baby snifflet, they now lay a sniffer egg. So, it looks like this. It grows faster on moss, and we can use the debug stick to edit its age. You can see it cracks up to 2 times before hatching. And it's just like a turtle egg, except it doesn't shatter. It must be grown on a certain block and hatches after a certain period of time. On the properties of this egg, we can see that it's actually more like a normal block than anything. You can mine it, and it gives it back. It has no unique noises. You can stack them up like this, kind of like pots, although they don't necessarily have the prettiest texture this way. And they are not directional. They will always be wider on one side, and you cannot change that. Have the trail ruins, which are mostly buried, although I've yet to see any other ones besides this. And although they seem quite boring, besides the archaeology part, you can get certain pieces only from here. Not to mention, there's probably quite a bit of loot here you can get, but of course brushing takes a while and eventually the Wikipedia for Minecraft will be updated. But as you go through, you'll notice that it goes quite deep. Going in spectator mode, we can see this is an entire fortress down here. So you could definitely dig it up and see what treasures it has to offer, especially because it's mostly hidden behind the archaeology part, which means, there's a lot of brushing to do and potentially a lot of secrets to find. Now, I've excavated this, and we can see this ruin is completely a base. Someone lived here long ago, and now they're gone. Who? We don't know. Why are they gone? Because they had a skill issue, and otherwise, there's just archaeology to be had here, and you can turn it into your own base with some touch-ups. Of course, it's quite ruined, so you might want to look for other suitable opportunities like a woodland mansion, but still, I'd recommend digging one out and seeing if you like it. Using some super flat generation to get these things floating, I've deleted more of the random things that generate inside, and we can get a feel for how these structures look. You can see they all start off with a tower, and then branch off sometimes into a road, well, it seems like all the time into a road, with some random assorting structures accompanying them. You can interpret to what they are. Were they storage? Were they bedrooms? Were they guardian cages? Well, probably not the last one, but still. It's all up to you. All I know is you can take them and turn them into your base, and there's a lot of packed mud bricks. Now, for the armor trim changes, first off, you can see that the original dune design is now for the Sentry, which is Poacher Outpost style. And honestly, it does fit considering the Woodland Mansion style. Meanwhile, the desert has gotten its own design, which looks pretty good. Then we got the Host, Shaper, Razor, and Wayfinder. These four, the brown ones, are located inside of the new ruined trails. Then for this final one, which looks absolutely spectacular and actually replaces the majority of your armor, which is kind of counterintuitive, but I love it. The Silence one, which is located in the ancient cities along with the Ward one. And honestly, this one looks amazing, combined with redstone and netherite to make my logo colors. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wear this one. No more mixing and matching the old ones. Nope. Silence for the win. Anyways, we also have some of the new sculk sensors. I haven't quite figured out how they work, but the most important thing is that we now have a new use for amethyst. As you can see here, opens door, it just moved the signal across. Then we have the calibrated sculk sensors, which I'm actually not sure how they work completely. I'm following what the changelog says, but it's not doing anything per se. It says that it only takes things from a certain signal type. I might just have the wrong signal, but whatever is going inside of this will be the only thing it can register. I have managed to figure out how to use the calibrated version, and it is unbelievably useful, because every signal that these make, it can range from 1 to 15, depending on what actually did it, which means if you do a certain action, it will open, but otherwise it won't, heavily cutting down on the machinery needed for secret entrances and the like. Just for reference, walking around is not going to do anything to the third one because on the amethyst side, we can see it's getting a signal strength of 2, and walking is only a signal strength of 1. However, landing is a 2. And sometimes it doesn't quite work, but you saw right there, since I wasn't moving, I was just going straight down, it let it through, and the redstone lamps lit up. So, it's incredibly useful. If you ever want to make your entrance only available for those drinking water, then you can do that with this. Just for a couple of corrections here. One, for the armor trims, the old Sentry is still in use. It's just for the shaper one, which means if your design looks like this, then it will have the old Sentry design. And then, for a small bug fix, we can see that the slime block and honey block held items now have the mini cube that they have inside of them properly rendering. It's just a small change, nothing too serious, but it's a welcome one. For this final change, I nearly forgot about it, but it is absolutely huge when it comes to map making. We can see this is a sign. It just says blue, it's not blue, and on the back, it says red. Yeah, that's right, it's on the back. And we can color these separately. We can use glow ink separately. One side can be glowing, the other side could not be glowing, or you can have it be that. Then you can write on one side by just, right clicking. On the other side, it's the same. So you can see a lot of customization, and the best part is, if you are having trouble right clicking on your signs when you don't mean to, honeycomb. That's it. You see? It doesn't let me anymore. It's just making some weird noise. I'm just gonna test this real quick. And you can see, not even scraping it off works. So, overall, it's a minor change. For the actual final change of this snapshot, we have a small tweak to the walking noise. Notice, you're hearing a little bit of amethyst if you turn up your volume and, blast your eardrums out with the music in the background or something. I don't know. Be a little careful. And we, of course, are hearing amethyst, but this is moss. Yeah, there's amethyst under it, but we're hearing both noises. And then, it's normal again when I walk on the normal amethyst. So, to explain what's going on here, you can now place carpets or small blocks like that you barely phase through, and it will make the noise under them at a lower pitch and volume, which means if you want something below it like deep slate tiles or anything else that has a nice walking noise, put it under a carpet, and then you can hear both noises at the same time. Aesthetics of a carpet, noises of the block under it. It's a win-win. Just the small changes like this and the signs are what makes Minecraft good, so I strongly recommend Mojang adds more of these in case you guys are trying to change things. Tell them your reactions on the Snapshot page, or go to Reddit and go to the changelog, comment there, and it seems like they look through the comments, so you can change Minecraft just by saying you want it to. And with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw